This week's assignment is to share one of my memorable stories. I would have to say the most memorable story I have had happened quite recently. I moved to Hardinsburg, Kentucky in March of this year. As most people know, moving can be a very stressful time. My moving day was full of stress and ultimately ending in a funny and memorable day. The plan of the day was to move Michelle, my roommate, and I into one trailer, and then our children, who are engaged, into their trailer. My roommate's daughter and my son were getting their first place right around the block. My roommate and I moved on a cold Saturday morning in March. We had a lot of help moving and in loading the U-Haul. It took a lot of cramming and heavy lifting, but eventually the whole house was packed into the truck. We filled up both vehicles with leftover items that would not go into the truck, and then the three vehicles were off to Hardinsburg. Turning around in the yard, I backed right up into a tree. I didn't realize later that night that I actually dented my car. It felt nice to sit for that 30-minute drive, but all too soon we arrived in Hardinsburg and had to unload the truck and the cars into the mobile homes. So first we unloaded at my house. I enlisted the neighborhood boys to help us unload because by that time we were all pretty wore out, and the manpower that we had to help us load had to leave before we had a chance to get everything into the truck at the other house. As we were unloading, everyone brought boxes into the house, and I had to put everything where it belonged, not thinking I put a box on top of the stove for the kitchen. Michelle came in a few minutes later, and she said that the house smelled a little like smoke. She looked around, and lo and behold, the box that I placed on the range top punched in one of the stove knobs and was smoldering. She quickly moved the box and turned off the stove. She put the box in the sink and wet it down and then opened it. It was one of Michelle's roosters that were to be displayed throughout the new kitchen. She laughed and told me if I was hungry, not to cook her chickens. The young men were a huge help, and in no time we finished unloading or were ready to unload the rest of the stuff into the kids' trailer. Now it was time to unload the stuff into their trailer. Michelle drove the truck around the block and jumped out and locked the cab because both of our purses were inside. Again, I enlisted the help of two young men, and in no time the truck was unloaded and we were done. Michelle went to get back into the truck and could not find the keys. By now, it's about 40 degrees outside. We were in both short sleeves because we've been working all day and we were hot, but soon we started getting very cold. I finally found the keys, safely hanging in the ignition of the truck. We were locked out of the moving van. The keys to our home were inside our purses, along with our identification and money. We called the U-Haul company, and they told us that the insurance does not pay for lockouts. So we borrowed a phone book from a stranger along with their cell phone and started making calls to locksmiths. Now, Hardinsburg is in the country, about 45 minutes from the nearest fairly large town. We called everyone in the area, and no one at 7 p.m. on a Saturday night was willing to come out and unlock us. So we called a tow truck company, and then we called another one and another one and another one until we finally found one that was willing to come out. By now, we have been standing out on the road for almost 2 hours. It took another hour for the tow truck to come. The driver of the towing service never had to unlock a U-Haul before. Well, it took him an hour to unlock it. We finally got the truck unlocked and went to return the truck. We pulled the truck into the U-Haul location. It was a very small building with even a smaller parking lot. Michelle pulled the truck in, put the keys in the night drop box. Only after we pulled out did we realize that we forgot to put gas in the tank for the truck. We felt finally our odyssey is over. All the moving was done and the rental van was returned. We were both hungry, so we went to Pizza Hut for some long-awaited dinner. As we were sitting and waiting for our meal, a man walked up very upset. He demanded to know where this guy named Jesse was. We just moved there, we told him. Apparently my vehicle, a retired police cruiser, looked a lot like the man's car he was looking for, and he was a fireman that was supposed to be at a meeting, and he didn't show up like he was supposed to. So after dinner, we went to our new house. We had enough energy to get our showers and went to bed in our new, very cluttered home. I had just enough room in my bedroom to turn my mattress down on the floor. Michelle's room was so packed that she had to sleep on part of the sectional in the living room. We didn't have the energy that night to unpack anything other than blankets and a change of clothes. Michelle woke up about 3 a.m. and was very irate. Apparently, the furnace uses batteries for the thermostat, and those batteries were dead. It was freezing cold in the trailer. She called her daughter and my son and had them go buy batteries for us. It took a minute or two, but after the battery change, we were finally getting heat and finally went to bed. We got done moving just in time because as we slept, 6 inches of snow fell. It seemed like moving day lasted forever. I was never so glad to get things moved in and get things organized in our house. After being locked out of a truck and after getting no heat and a weird man walking up to us asking where this other guy was, it was definitely an odyssey. Thank you.